All right, everybody. So we're gonna be working on. I think we're gonna be finishing up this painting. We're pretty much almost done. Let's see. All right. Let me get some gloves on. Grab some of my materials together, and I'm gonna wrap this painting up for the. I don't know. I have a little bit more, but I think pretty much. You know, we're on the final touches. I'm not one to like overuse layers and things like that, so we're nearing the final finishing touches. This is exciting. I love getting near the end of a painting and starting new paintings and doing the beginning of paintings, middle, and I love the whole process. Very exciting. But with that said, let's go ahead. Nettie. Nettie. Anyone ever watch that show? All right, let's do some updates. Let's see. Let's see. Gonna start here in just a moment. All right. So we were on day, maybe like hour 10 of this painting. Pull some of these brushes together. And let's go tighten up this area. Let's go tighten up this space right here. I like it. All right. Hey, what's up? Omi, the Omi. 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 Let's sing the name. Sing names of people as they come in. Omi. Omizu. Omitsu. Omizu, the painter. Omizu, the artiste. Omizu, the great. Omizu, the great water. The great water. All right, so you know what? Some of this is imperfect, but I think we can allow the imperfections to just be and have a perfectly fine painting. Let's let things just be and see where this takes us, you know? How was the day? Hey, so oh yeah, so earlier y'all were here. Kat had a great, fantastic meeting with the Hollywood agent, the Southern California talent agent. So she had a great meeting, but you know what? You don't really count your chickens till the eggs hatch, or you don't really count your chickens till the chickens are raised. So as far as that goes, time will only tell how that will turn out. We don't know yet, but we will find out soon enough. I'm sure she'll hear some details. And exciting enough, Kat will be in some big commercials and movies, hopefully. That's the goal, but we shall see. You never know. Things can change in the blink of an eye. You know, isn't it wild that your life can literally change in the blink of an eye? Like, you know, one day you're just sitting in your living room. And another day you're like sitting in the living room. And another day you're like hanging out. And then suddenly, you know, you're on a big TV show and people want to be your friend. 'Tis the story. Admittedly, these hands look a little jacked up, but let's see how we can work some of these spaces. I want to tighten them up a little bit, but not too much. I don't need to overdo it. So let's go like this. Let's go into here. Let's see how we can tighten this up here. Such bad hands. Let's fix these. We'll fix these hands eventually. Let's see. Tighten that up. Probably should have just like kept them the way they were. But now I'll have to make some adjustments to make sure that they look right. Give a little bit of gap between each of the toes here. One, two. Let's find a nice small brush here. You know what I don't get is how to not use the color white. I read from this, I was listening to this book today, and it was saying, use the color white the least amount possible. Like, if anything, just don't use it at all. And I just don't know how it's possible to do that. I mean, I guess you have to be very specific and pro at where and how you lay down your colors. But honestly, I just have no clue how that can be possibly achieved. Such horrible hands. I'm gonna have to paint over them. This might not be ready at least for a couple more days if I have to paint over these hands, but that's okay. Let's go bring in some shadow into our figure. I'm gonna prove that this side of some of the shadows along this wrist here. Try to find a good brown. I feel like there's no way I'm going to be able to get these hands without looking back at the reference. 1, 2, 3, 4 hands plus a thumb. I'm just working on, got this purple shade. Yes, I'm gonna have to cheat and turn back on my reference. This makes me think of this idea that painting is expression when you get the form down, but if you don't have the form, then it is important to like, I think these hands just how do we do this? I'm gonna have to make 2 of these fingers disappear, actually. So let's do that. Let's make 2 of these fingers disappear. Disappear just a little bit. And then this finger is going to disappear a bit as well. Just gonna have to do a total redo of these hands. What's the reference this time? Same reference. Same reference. Eve tempting Adam, but I just got to get these hands. So I'm gonna paint over these hands. We're gonna use black here. Let's go into some of the toe spaces, and we're going to find a way to create some gaps between the toes, but not too much. We don't need too much, just enough to add in some detail here. Just some subtle detail to separate the big toe. I think if you could separate the big toe, you know, you got enough detail that gives a good idea. Honestly, it's interesting. This brush is giving me an easier time to work with than even my really, really small brush. 1, 2, 3. And then let's go with our dark green here. I'm going to go and tighten up the shapes of these feet. And here we go. All right, so on this other area, let's go add in some shadows into the tips of these feet right now. And in a few, we will try one more time to try and get the... By the way, I just found out that the new singer of Linkin Park is a woman. How cool is that? That's very progressive of Linkin Park to do that. I like it. So let's see what we can do about some of the other feet here. You know what? This palm can probably use a shadow. So we're gonna add a little bit of a shadow on this palm right here. Let's add a little bit of details into the hands. Let's go with a brown. Go with a dark brown with some hint of blue, dark brown with hint of blue. I'm gonna go into this palm here just to create some palm work. Oops, it's gonna be too much, not too much of a paint chunk. We could blend that later. Get rid of some of the corners on these fingers here. I think that'll help. And let's bring in a shadow into this toe. And let me see what I can do. I think there's just like a couple more things that if I just tighten up the hand, this one hand, you know, I think we're in a good space to move on. Let's see, we're gonna add a little bit of pink here. Give the hands a little bit of a redness. We're gonna find a way to reduce the You know what? I need to build a little eaten apple section out of the apple. So this is gonna make it look like it was eaten out of. And then here we go. Let's bring this hand up. Excuse me. So this one I'm probably not gonna do as many layers as I did on previous ones. But let's see what I can do about this arm area. Add a little bit of highlight right into here. And let's see. this up. Really just about bringing some highlight into these fingers here. Try to find some subtle shadows to correct on his hand. That's pretty good. Try to find this angle a little bit deeper. And then probably fix this section of the hand right here. Kind of improve where the apple goes. So let's grab a red. Let's brighten up our reds here. So I'm going to brighten up our red, grab some yellow, white, red. We're going to add some brighter reds around our apple here. And let's try to find some deeper reds. There's a little too much highlight here, so I'm going to reduce the highlight just a little bit. It's one of those things that becomes interesting because I'm using a drawing sketch. So, you know, a lot of the colors you got to make up. I mean, we all know what the color of an apple is, but like as far as the overall certain shades of the apple, certain parts. I'm going to add some little highlights to these other apples, particularly on the bottom, just to give it that feel that they're like in the environment rather than just like sitting around. Little highlights just to make it pop. Let's see if we can add some yellows to this one. Just give it some roundness here. We're gonna add a little bit, a small stem, just a little round spot right here. Just to give it a little stem. Just a fine little detail in here to make it look like it was bit into. And what can we do? So something about these eyes, right? The eyes on our figure here, I think they could be a little bit more distinct. So what I want to do is I want to do that. I want to make them more distinct. Give it some reds, try to find a good yellow. Give it some... What are you doing? These cats are so crazy. Let's see, we're gonna go right around here. Let's try to, we're gonna tighten up our brush a little bit, reduce some of the paint that's like excess paint that's gonna like smudge. So, you know, get a little bit off onto here, onto the hair so that we can get it primed and ready for this little section. Yeah, a little yellow highlight on the tips of each of them. See if we get a little yellow highlight. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to make this effort right now? Do I want to make this extra effort to go into the eyes and try to get white? Do I want to try to get white in the eyes, or do I want to leave it? Do I want to leave it? If I add just a little bit, it's gonna have an impact. Let's see. This doesn't work this time. I'm just gonna stick with the blue eye idea. Oh. Of course I smudged it. All right, this is a sign that I'm just gonna keep it a blue eye, because that's a sign that I need to just keep these eyes blue. But the whole thing blue without the white. So that's what we're gonna do. It's a sign. It's gonna be a thing. And is there any other way I can use this blue now that we have it? Maybe let's go a little bit in here into the belly button. We're gonna go into her belly button. And let's go to curve right here. Let's add some shadows, some deep shadows. I'm gonna go keep this blue, try to keep this blue going in some deeper shadows. Where might we have like a nice shadow? Have a nice shadow right around here. Hey, you know what? So at this point, I feel like if I add my shadows too dark, it's gonna like I'm gonna have to like redo so much, which I don't mind, but you know, I think I'm just gonna pretty much keep them as is and then just add white over them. See how this is looking. All right, let's find our white again. And we're gonna see a way to soften some of this area. What is happening? Just want to get this kneecap right, and having little issues because just trying to find the right value for this kneecap. I think we found it. Honestly, I think I look great the way before, so we're gonna keep that. Honestly, this is at a point where I like where it's at. If I keep pushing it, I could possibly make it better. But it'll just end up with me fixing a bunch of things rather than really honing the idea. You know, with my painting, I feel like I reach a point typically when it's like I keep working it and trying to improve it. But because of the way the overall thing is already, it doesn't really end up being as much of an improvement as much as it is just overworking areas that I probably don't need it as much. So let's go like this. Let's go right into here. That blue a little bit. And we're gonna add, let's see if we could bring these fingers back out. So I'm gonna have to really figure out a good color for this that will help to make these hands actually appear. So this piece is pretty much like that. All right, that looks like a pretty good finger. That's pointing. I want to try to get the proportion though. So is that proportion fairly accurate? You know what? I could probably elongate it just a little bit more. Oh, whoops. I have to use some really dense white because I painted black over here. I like the challenge. And then let's find these other fingers. So these other fingers are going to kind of disappear because they're going to go right up here. That's where the knuckles are. And then this other one is going to have a knuckle going straight out. And then let's go with some blue. I'm going to contrast the blue into the black for the shadow of our fingers here. Let's go like this. So, someone has sent the message held for review. Overlap them. Yeah. Yep. That's what we got to do. That's the thing that you noticed. I feel like I did. This one is overlapped. Not like totally, but it's overlapped a little bit. Because, you know, I try to figure, so the spacing, so obviously, originally this was a different, the figure is totally different on this one. And what's happening is that, you know, I'm trying to leave some extra space in the center to try to, you know, reflect a similar shape as this one, as the one on our left. So that's what I'm aiming to do. Which is why I haven't totally made overlap. What color is that? Let's grab some red now. You just got it?
Yeah, just got it.
Well, there's the top one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Get the key in the hole. Yes, I will. No more peeing on the floor.
Let me see how I can reduce the shadow into these knuckles here. Yo, keep the 4-inch brush out of his hands. Now that's a painting. What's the 4-inch brush? Ah, yes. Smaller brushes. Honestly, it's just hard for me to paint these other details without the 4-inch brush. But you know, Michael Wilbur is right. Excuse me, if I, aim to push myself a little harder to not use the ultra small brush, I can probably do a better job, like, overall. It keeps me free, keeps me moving along, keeps me, like, active. And not, like, bogged down by certain details that may or may not contribute effectively to. It's funny. I've never seen Michael Wilbur paint, so I don't know, like, I just assume he's credible. But, like, that's the one thing that I think any teacher can learn is to, like, tell someone what they want to hear. And somehow Michael knows that I want to hear, dude, stop using the small detail brushes. Stop trying to, like, focus on the super minor details with the tiny, tiny, tiny brush that are not really going to have a impact. I mean, they could have an impact, but, they don't really, they just make things more, like, more, I just have more of a chance to mess things up with that. It's not my forte. And at some level, it's what I want to hear. I want to hear someone be like, dude, just stop using that brush. You're not doing any good with it. It's just making the painting worse. Just stop it. Just stop it right now. And I don't know if Michael says this stuff just because, that's his actual opinion of how the best way to paint is, or whether he knows that, like, that for me, I'm probably worse off. But I do find it amusing of this idea. I do find it amusing, this idea of, like, like, sometimes it's just like, what you want to hear, the type of art you want to make. And it doesn't matter who says it to you. You just want to hear it. Let's go with a black eye. And let's continue to find this green. I'm gonna find like a green yellow at the top here.
Get out of there. Get out. Out. It's gross. It's all greasy.
Let's try to find this bright color. We all know that snakes are green. No one's ever seen a non-green snake before, right? So this totally makes sense. And you know what we can do? We can actually take this and add some shadow along the tree. I'm gonna keep it mostly flat, but just to add some detail. We're gonna darken the area around the snake. Give it like a nice little consistent line that kind of follows around the snake so that we can just have that. Honestly, it's a very minor detail, but I think it gives the snake some extra movement, extra life. Let's see. Actually, right here the snake needs to come down just a little bit. We're gonna brighten up the snake around this edge. Bring him around. And here's what we gotta do. We gotta do something to separate the snake from the background. Because as you can see, this area is like a green. If I can just slightly blend that a little bit to be like a different color, I think we'll have a fantastic background. Very like just a little bit of a highlight there coming in through the trees. Let's add an ochre here. I'm gonna add a little bit just into this section. And honestly, I feel like I want to add a little bit more highlight around the trees, but I still want to leave some of this. So this like top part, it's kind of dull, but I don't mind leaving it a little bit dull. But I just want to add a bit more of like something to look at in the background. As far as like a the luster goes. I don't want to lose the luster around the hand here. So let me go ahead and, oh no, that's too green. Let's find a red here. I'm gonna try to find our red. Red, and this light blue here might be a good color. Yeah, we're gonna find the purple here. No, is that coming out? Yeah, it's a little bit. Let's grab our ochre, mix in our yellow, try to find our ochre again. Nice rich color. Just into here. Try to add some reds in. Oh no, the red, I don't want to add too much red around the apple. Some greens and blues will be okay, or purple, but not red. Because if I put in a red, it's gonna pull detail away from the apple. So, a rich blue would be nice. Nice, beautiful blue. Lustrous blue. Let's see if we can find that color here. There we go. Now we're just gonna go with this. Actually, here's what I gotta do. I gotta stop being lazy. Gotta grab a fresh blue. Here's what happens sometimes. I have this blue. I don't have enough blue in my palette, so I keep trying to like pick up the little remnants of blue, but I'm not really picking anything up. So that's when I know I'm being lazy. I need to just grab a nice blue and just dig in, right? Just need to dig in with this blue here. There we go. There's a nice, beautiful blue. Help us to find. No, this side's like purple though. Let me see if I can find add red in. Would red help? Red and white. I make this like consistent, you know? Make it go around. Let's see, maybe I can make it consistent with this brush right here. Yeah, that might be good. Let's see how we can blend this white. And we could do that. I like this, like, this cloudiness that's around it. So it's a nice little cloudiness, cloudy form. Nice little cloudy form around it. And there we have that. Then this needs to fade into here a little bit. It looks kind of awkward when it loses the dimension there. So let's try to bring in some of the dimension. Now let's grab this red and we're gonna go I want to try to reduce the highlight around this apple right here. Reduce the apple a little bit. Here we go. Michael didn't want me using this brush. I'm gonna use it anyway. Just want to add more to this eyelash. I think as long as the ratio of using this brush to my other brush is less than 10%, I think it's a good use. It's a good use of this brush. And here's the problem. All right, let's go fix this, and I think we're good. I think after we fix this major section that we're about to work into, so right here, there's like a tree, and it looks like the tree kind of like just kind of cuts off below it. So let's go bring this down. Let's go bring our tree out just a little bit further. We're just gonna blend our tree up. And then, you know, it kind of disappears down here. That's cool. I like the idea that the tree kind of just disappears and it's just these two figures just magically sitting there. The magic of two ladies sitting, chilling, eating an apple, enjoying an apple without the distractions of society. Just two ladies enjoying an apple. Isn't that what just women want out of life, is just to chill and eat fruits? Probably men too, you know, men, women. Who doesn't want to just chill and do that kind of stuff, right? That's what we're all meant to do, just chill and eat fruits. Fruits are symbolic of wine. The red apple is just a symbol for wine. And who doesn't want to just chill and drink wine all day? I don't, but, you know, I can understand people that do. Yeah, well, I think we've got some good color separations. We've got some interesting figures. Got some good details. Maybe tighten up some of these trees a little bit. You probably blend some brown into here a bit more. You say silly question?
Yeah, ask if they wanted more to eat. Silly question. I don't know.
Grab some ochre and fill in with our ochre. I don't actually know what this part is, besides like this little flower section that has flowers. These 3 little flowers just chilling in this little section right here. I don't really know what it is, so I'm just gonna allow the colors to tell the story. Do you like how vibrant it is? So we're in a good spot here. It's a bit surreal. There's some surrealism going on. I want to add in this ochre here just to have like a different color theme in this section, because there's so much color variation on this side. I feel I need to at least balance it on this side as far as color variation goes. And after that, I think we could call it a day. I really like this ochre and I really like this brown, so we're gonna keep working with this into our space here. Maybe like right into here. Try to find, because this is pretty much black, so try to find a nice little path right here. Kind of random. It's not a totally accurate like space. Bring it out down here to our creature, and maybe a little bit into the background. How's that look? Does that look unusual? I could pass a little rough patch of grass right there, huh? Got a bird there. Expressive, unusual. Don't really know exactly what it is. That's fine. Let's. I do want to tighten up his ankles. The bird's ankles. I want to give it, a bit more brightness. I don't want to make it, stand totally out, but have a few things pop. Bright color. Maybe bring its beak out. Let's modify around this. Some expressive marks here. You know what this was? I didn't know what this was before, but now I'm thinking it's like a little pond, a little watering hole. That's not what I had in mind earlier. That's not what I thought it was. I actually didn't really know what it was, but you know what? Now we're just gonna call it a watering hole. That's exactly what this is now. Somewhere where this bird can drink some water, enjoy some good old R&R. Check out a couple ladies enjoying some apples. 2 ladies enjoying apples. And that's that. So let's see. Have we reached a point where, my question to myself is, have we reached a point where if I keep doing stuff to it, is it going to add to it? Or am I just adding just to add? And that question is still, there's a couple more things I should do. Not overly complicated things, pretty simple. Let me find a good brush for this. Some brush that I need to put to good use because it hasn't been used in a couple days, but I like the brush. So what I need to do is I need to make some sense of this area. So some of these are like golden leaves. So some of these are going to be leaves. Let's find our ochre. Ochre's taken up. So we're going to go like golden leaves here. Doesn't need to be golden. We can dull the leaves. It'll help us to not overly hide our character. We don't want to do that. We don't want to hide her. We don't want to overpower her with like color from the outside. But I do want to add this like sense of, hey, she's actually like sitting on a bush, which I find kind of funny. Can't really figure out exactly what she's sitting on. What I think is actually happening in this, in my reference, what I think is actually happening is that our figure here, she is actually a model. She was modeling in real life, and I actually think it was a man modeling because I think back then they used to actually have males model for women too as well, and then they would just like figure out how to make it feminine or whatever the artist would. So what I think is happening is that she was actually a model, and she's sitting on a rectangular chair or a box laying back, and the artist Crispin Vandenbroek didn't really have like an idea of how he wanted this to go. So he tried to make it look like a rock, but it actually just ended up looking exactly like it was, like a cloth. I think there's a cloth layer. Actual model is a model sitting on top of a cloth layer of something, and that's what it is, as opposed to sitting on a rock or anything. And I guess it's my job as an artist to interpret and come up with my own thing. But I kind of like having this. I would get crucified by one of my mentors if I said I kind of like this. He doesn't like the word kinda, but doesn't like the word kinda. You can't kinda do things. You know what? Maybe bring in the red into here. She's basically sitting on a bush. Who keeps sending me messages that are inappropriate? Why do they look like eyes staring at the apple? Omiza, have you ever like looked at a painting and you're like, what was going on in this painting? So there's these paintings at the Getty Villa in Los Angeles, and it basically looks like some of the some of the characters are just like really stoned out of their minds. Like their eyes are just like bloodshot red. I don't want to overdo the textures, so we're just gonna, how can I make this look more natural? That's my question here. I just want to make it look natural as far as this bush goes. I don't want it to overpower and I don't want to over detail, but just to make it seem like she's sitting on a bed of bushes while our other figure is just standing chilling, sharing an apple. Maybe it comes out a little bit further. This green here. Let's add some contrasting yellows. What do we have? Let me look at this. This painting from a distance. But by from a distance, I mean reversed and small. Oh, I see. You know, I could say their ears are being covered by their hair. Which means can actually go into her hair and find me a good orange. Find a good orange. And just cover over this ear here. Little things to make her hair pop. We're going to skip the ears, allow these bodies to just express themselves. And let me see what needs to be done. Hey, take care, Omizu. Thanks for chiming in with your interesting observations. I really appreciate that. It's good to be able to laugh at some of the things that are happening in this painting and have this second set of eyes. It's fantastic, and I feel very fortunate that you have chosen my channel to share your thoughts with. So thanks, and hey, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Whenever shall we chat again. Let's see, what do we need to do? What else? I think a couple more leaves right here. 1 and then 2. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2. I don't want this to be just dark brown central. I don't even know what that is. Actually, you know what? We can probably add some more greens into this tree. And here we go, you know. I want to add a little bit more shading to this, just to go along the outside, closer to the browns. So it doesn't look, it looks a little awkward with the bright central tree area. Looks really rough. That's okay. I wanted to have at least a little bit of a separation here. Actually, one more thing. This is green. This is red. Let's find. I'll build red into these legs, not so much. I'm not a big fan of this like yellow color that's in here. And I don't know if I should put like apples in these trees in the back. I don't really. Should I put apples in the trees in the back? I don't know if they're apple trees. I can't really tell if they're apple trees. You know what I will do? I'm gonna add some marks. I'm gonna add some marks just to have some marks. Because why not, right? Just add some marks around. Some marks. Just blend in a little bit of a green here. You know, it almost no longer makes sense to have this like black section, except for if it's her hair, which kind of makes sense. But I got to, I think over in this area, we can do a little bit to touch this up a little bit, reduce the overall. Disappearance of this section here.
Scout, no.
I'm just gonna go with a whole set of leaves here. Why not? Let's just leaf this out.
No. Scout, what did I say? No. 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 Thank you. Good boy. Go. Go, go, go.
Allow our hair to just kind of fall. We'll lose some of the detail as it comes into the foreground because it's not too important. I don't know exactly what this is, but it's in the drawing. Can't tell if it's like a rock or something. It looks like a little highlight at the front of the foot. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it to capture some of the original elements of this. Clean off this brush. And before I go to bed here, we're going to prepare another canvas. What about it?
Are you looking at it?
Well, I wasn't. Huh? No, I mean, I am now that you brought attention. But I was painting. See it now. I can see it now. Alright, let's take a photo of this to finalize. Can you drop the light and the thing over there? Right there. In the hallway?
Yeah.
Because I'm taking this photo. I get a photo of this thing. All right. Excuse me. All right, let's put this photo up. And I want to use the rest of our Van Dyke brown here. We're gonna go like this. Bring this down. Excuse me. We're gonna find a nice thick brush. Oh, what brush? It's our Blick brush. It's been totally ruined and stiffened. Oh no. Let me try to soak it for a minute. Let's see what happens if we soak a totally stiffened brush in mineral spirits for 60 seconds. 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54. So this little bristle comb, brush combs, helps me to separate the bristles sometimes. Doesn't work on all the brushes, but I think for the majority of them, yeah. And we're like back to nice hard bristle brush. So very good, that worked. Doesn't always work that way. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna prepare our next canvas. We're just gonna grab a ton of mineral spirits. This little chunk of Van Dyke brown. This big chunk of Van Dyke brown. It's been couple days and it already dried. I don't like my Van Dyke browns. I'm so looking forward to when I finally have no more Van Dyke brown. So this is gonna have chunks in it. I don't care. I'm gonna take the chunks off when I get the chance. I just want to get rid of this Van Dyke brown. Actually, you know what? Let's just lay a nice big chunk of Van Dyke brown right onto the canvas. Ever since, so this is the first brown I ever got, and it like doesn't really work for anything. It's got this weird texture to it. I don't know if it's the brand or what, but it's just got this like unusual texture to it. And it got a bunch of holes in it, so like it dries too quickly. And I heard it doesn't have a lot of really good it doesn't last very well. So my goal right now is to just get rid of as much Van Dyke brown as I can. So here we go. We're just gonna spread this out. Spread this Van Dyke brown out. These are mineral spirits if we have to. Well, actually, we're gonna have to for sure. So just grab as much mineral spirit as I can without it dripping too much on the floor. Bring it around and into our painting. I'm just gonna spread this all around. Honestly, I could probably use a bigger brush, but I want to get this brush moving because I neglected it for a little while and it got a little stiff. So this brush got a little stiff, therefore I want to put it to use. But this is a great brush for these larger surface areas. Just filling space right now, preparing for the next few painting sessions here. A little bit more mineral drip oil, mineral spirit drip onto the sides here. Fill the full canvas. Sometimes I really enjoy this part. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna plan out a little bit of what my next painting is gonna be.
Okay, if I shut this light off?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
What is it, guys? Michael said there's going to be no funeral.
Wow.
Per Bob's request.
Okay.
Okay. I want more food. More food. Too much.
All right, let's wrap this up. We have gotten to the beginning of my next painting.
Can I put this in a bowl? Hey, did they tell you to put it on the ground? Oh my God. Pookie. Go. Get off the counter. Go. Thank you. All the same. It's the same flavor. It's the same stuff. Okay. Ready? Here we go, Simba. Okay. You can also eat this bowl. Right? Yeah.
Goodness, so much coughing tonight. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to sign my signature. Let's do that before this is for the end of the night.
All right.
Oops, keep my own canvas.
What are you doing over there?
Hmm?
Looking for waters? The rest of them.
Oh, now I gotta retake this with my signature on it. Let's see. Do that like this. This is a wonderful, wonderful painting. It'd go great in anybody's home. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. And with that, everyone, take care. Thank you for being here. Good night. Good night.